Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today we're talking about something that's probably kept you up at night at least once, debugging IPv6. We are going to build out your digital detective toolkit so you can actually figure out what's going wrong when connectivity suddenly drops. Picture this scenario for a second. You're managing a network, everything's humming along nicely, and bam, your dual stack applications just mysteriously stall out. They hang, users start complaining about degraded service, or worse, complete outages. Now, when IV4 breaks, you probably know exactly what to do. But when IV6 breaks, do you actually know how to troubleshoot and fix it? And let's be real, this isn't some far-off future problem anymore. Major cloud providers, ISPs, and the edge networks we all rely on, they've already deployed dual stack and IPv6 environments. IPv4 address exhaustion is a reality right now. So if your Kubernetes clusters, your cloud deployments, or your CDN edge networks start acting up, having these specific troubleshooting skills is absolutely essential. So here's our game plan for today. We'll start by looking at the IPv6 debugging toolkit, then move to Step 1, local addresses. From there, Step 2, neighbor discovery. Step 3, tracing paths. Step 4, resolving DNS. And finally, we'll wrap up with some really handy OS-specific power tools. All right, let's jump right into part 1, the IPv6 debugging toolkit and upgrading your gear. The good news here, the actual fundamentals of debugging network issues really haven't changed at all. We're just swapping out the tools in our belt for newer versions. You know your trusty ping command? Well, say hello to ping 6. That old ARP cache you're used to for mapping IP addresses to MAC addresses, that's completely gone, replaced by a protocol called neighbor discovery. And for DNS, we aren't looking for A records anymore, we are hunting for AAA or quad A records. Simple enough, right? Moving on to Step 1, local addresses. Basically, we need to ask, who is at the scene? Every good investigation starts locally. If your machine can't communicate outward, the very first thing we need to know is if it even has a valid identity. Here's how that IPv6 auto-configuration timeline actually plays out. First up, the machine generates a link local address. You'll recognize this because it always starts with FE80::. Now this address is strictly for local chatter on that specific network segment. Next, it runs duplicate address detection. Once it clears that, it sends out a router solicitation. It's essentially shouting to the local network, hey, what router am I talking to? The router fires back with a router advertisement, which finally lets the machine configure its global unicast address. That's the one it uses to route out across the wider internet. So if you're stuck and you only see an FE80::, address on your interface, there's a really good chance your router just isn't sending those crucial router advertisements. Now, I mentioned duplicate address detection, or DAD, just a second ago. This is actually a massive point of failure to watch out for. If DAD fails, usually because some other machine is already hogging that specific address, your machine's address gets stuck in what's called a tentative state. It's there, but it is completely unusable. If you've got a server with absolutely zero connectivity, diving into your system logs to check for a DAD failure is a fantastic place to start looking. Okay, Step 2, neighbor discovery. Let's find out who is nearby. So what happens when ping 6 fails to reach a host that's sitting right there on the exact same subnet? You've got to figure out if it's a layer 2 or a layer 3 problem. This is where a really cool tool called NDisk6 comes in. It's basically the IPv6 equivalent of ARPing. It shoots out neighbor solicitation messages to resolve an IPv6 address directly to its MAC address. If NDisk6 actually succeeds, but your ping 6 is still failing, well, you know your layer 2 connectivity is perfectly fine. You're almost certainly looking at a layer 3 routing issue or maybe a really stubborn firewall. That brings us to Step 3, tracing paths. Where exactly did those packets go? Think of this as your quick reference cheat sheet for ping 6 and traceroute 6. Notice that -I flag for ping 6? You literally have to use this when you're pinging a link local FE80- addresses. You have to tell the system exactly which physical interface to send the packet out of, or it won't know what to do. And take a look at that second row. -mdo paired with a size flag, -s. This combination is an absolute game changer for testing MTU, or maximum transmission unit, issues. If small packets are making it through but large ones are fragmenting or failing entirely, you use this to test path MTU discovery. Now for tracing paths, running traceroute 6 with the -n flag gives you just the numeric output. It skips the DNS lookups, which makes it so much faster. Oh, and if your normal traceroute is just throwing asterisks at you because a firewall is dropping ICMP traffic, try using the -t flag. That traces the path using TCP packets to a specific port instead. All right, Step 4, resolving DNS. Who did they actually talk to? Look, if you can successfully ping 6 an IP address but not the host name, you've got a DNS problem on your hands. Notice in the breakdown here that we are always hunting for that AAA record. Now, Dig is definitely your most powerful tool for this. It lets you easily target specific DNS servers just by using the @ symbol, or you can run reverse lookups using the -X flag. But hey, don't forget about NSLOOKUP. Keep that one in your back pocket. It might be a little more basic, but it's universally available across pretty much every operating system. And believe me, that is incredibly handy when you're suddenly parachuted onto a strange server to fix an outage. And finally, let's look at Section 6, OS-specific power tools, so we can really tailor this investigation. The overall logic of debugging this stuff is exactly the same everywhere, but the specific commands, the magnifying glasses we use, if you will, they change depending on your operating system. Whether you are on Linux, Mac, or Windows, you're always going to follow these 3 core steps. First, verify your local address assignment. Second, test your basic reachability to your gateway or out to the internet. And third, check your DNS resolution. Let's break down exactly how to run these steps on the different platforms. Starting with Linux, the IP command is going to be your absolute best friend here. It completely replaces legacy tools like ifconfig and route. All you have to do is slap on that -6 flag. Running IP-6 address show scope global will instantly list your routable addresses. Need to verify your gateway? IP-6 route show default does the trick. For your modern ARP table, IP-6 NAShow lets you inspect your neighbor cache. And if absolutely nothing is working, you can literally go read the kernel config files. Take a look at that disable_IPv6 file path. You might find that IPv6 was forcefully turned off at the system level. Over on macOS, things feel a little more traditional. You're still going to rely pretty heavily on ifconfig piped to grep inet6 to check your address assignments. To verify your default routes, you'll want to use netstat-rn-f inet6. Now, if your Mac's auto configuration has just completely stalled out, there's a really powerful command, network setup-setvsix automatic. That can usually kickstart the whole process. And if you have a sneaking suspicion that a stale DNS cache is pointing you to the wrong IPv6 address, running dsksutil-flushcache will clear it right out for you. Last but not least, Windows. If you're a Windows admin, you have 2 fantastic options here. PowerShell CMDlets are incredibly robust if you like scripting. GetNet IP address and GetNet route, when combined with the -address family IPv6 parameter, give you total visibility. You can even test DNS natively right in PowerShell with resolve DNS name. But if you prefer the classic command prompt, the NetSH interface IPv6 suite is still rock solid. Using show addresses, show route, or show neighbors gives you everything you need to quickly diagnose the state of the system. As we wrap up our investigation today, I want to leave you with the absolute golden rule of modern network debugging. It's perfectly summarized right here. Always check both stacks. Seriously. In a dual stack environment, never, ever assume that just because an application is working flawlessly on IPv4, that the IPv6 configuration is identical. The routing, the firewall rules, the DNS records, they can, and honestly they often do, differ wildly between the 2 protocols. You always have to verify them independently. And there you have it. You've now got ping 6, traceroute 6, and disk 6, and the OS-specific power tools you need to tackle these connectivity issues head-on. Your digital toolkit is officially upgraded. So I'll leave you with this. What connectivity mystery are you going to solve on your network next? Get out there and start digging. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and happy debugging.